Well, hashtag World Habitat Day is actually today, the 7th of October. With me this morning from Habitat for Humanity is Jennifer Messiah. She's the National Director. And with me as well is Tracy Hutchinson Wallace, who is the Corporate Communications Officer. Good morning and welcome. And happy Habitat Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what does the organization do for Habitat Day itself?
Well, this year we've come up with a really interesting way of both raising awareness and, of course, fundraising, because whatever we do depends on the kinds of funds we can bring in. So we're having a virtual coffee morning. So everybody who's going out to Starbucks today, you will see a really nice little box next to the cash register, and we're encouraging people to add a little something to the box, you know, your spare change, that kind of thing, when you go out for your cup of coffee. We've also promoted it to Trinidadians and Tobagonians all across the world. So we're encouraging them to have a virtual cup as well by just selecting any one of our little products on our website and purchasing a cup of coffee.
No, I am a huge fan of coffee, so that's something I could just jump right on train with.
Of course.
And and get myself an actual cup and a virtual cup as well, because of course it goes toward a great cause.
And you know that all the money that comes in, this is money that is going directly to the projects that we're working on, helping people not just in Trinidad and Tobago, for instance, recovering from the flooding earlier this year, but also people across the region, helping them to build their homes.
That's right, you know, and I can attest to the wonderful work that Habitat does, because a few years ago I was a part of a volunteer project that was a team up between Habitat for Humanity and Team Hope. And we built a house for an older gentleman who had lost his house to a fire. And we actually got in and did the construction. And of course, they had some professionals there who would have orchestrated the work, and some people there, specialists who would do some of the finer things that us laymen couldn't do. But wow, it was a very labor-intensive but very rewarding experience. And it's something I'd encourage anybody to get involved with, you know, giving back and giving of yourself and paying it forward. Definitely. You know, and the wonderful work that Habitat does is just so amazing.
Absolutely. So I wanted to pick up with you on that. We needed the muscles involved, because in spite of the technical people that we have, if we don't have the strong arms to do some excavation, because you don't want to pay for a backhoe, so we want the manual backhoes to get involved. And you know how hard that is in this kind of weather. You actually pray for the rain then.
Trust me, I know firsthand.
Yes. So we celebrate our volunteers across the world. And every year we tell ourselves we want 1 million volunteers worldwide, and we always exceed that target.
Really? That's amazing. And I know next to me here has a booklet that is labeled Disaster Preparedness. What can you tell me about this?
All right, I'll let Tracy take that one.
Okay, so what we've come to realize in the time that Habitat's been around is that there are so many people who are even more vulnerable to not having housing, because they live in places where they are subject to disasters and can be badly affected and not able to bounce back from disasters. We found that the best way really to make sure this sort of situation ends is to have them prepared for disasters. For people to know that no matter where you're living, no matter your circumstances, you can think and plan ahead to be sure that if something happens, you and your community are the first ones to respond, and that is the way that you will bounce back from a disaster much faster.
Right in tune with that, we do have a video here that you provided us with, so we'd like to take a look at that right now.
Okay. Young boy growing up in Laventry Road in Febo Village in Samoa, I really had no concept of ever becoming a manager or having an organization of my own, you know, or even having my own house. And a lot of people reached out and helped me along the way. People who helped me who I knew, some of them I didn't know. And for that reason, I feel it's important now that I give back in any way that I can. Our corporate social responsibility at the Escarres site is Habitat for Humanity. So we are supporting the cause of alleviating poverty housing. And really, you don't have to have a whole lot to be able to give, because what you're giving of is your time, talent, and treasure. So this is my appeal to you to get involved with Habitat, get on board, and for those of you who have received a lot, to those who much is given, much is expected.
And just that last piece there, the phrase, you know, make make a change.
Make a change, yes. He's one of our architects of change. We are also encouraging everyone in Trinidad and Tobago to come on board and actually be an architect of change. Give of your time, your talent, your treasure, and make this a country where everyone has somewhere safe and decent and affordable to live.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
know, one of our calls, especially today on World Habitat Day, is to become an architect of change, particularly as a member of Habitat. And what does that mean? That you get on board and you sign a little form and you donate $100 TT annually as a contribution towards Habitat, but then you become a member of Habitat where you will benefit
Less
from
than $1 a day.
discounts.
Yes.
Way less than $1 a day.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So we're
Probably
really
about 30 cents.
appealing that people will join on this day in particular so we can celebrate that we have, I don't know, we don't have 1 million people as a target, but we would love to have many persons on board joining, both at the ritual virtual morning as well as
Starbucks.
become members of Habitat by going online and clicking that button.
Definitely, and if you wanted to, aside from donating $100 for the year, if you wanted to donate your time, how do you go about doing
Online
that?
also.
Yeah,
Online as well.
we are on all the social media channels. If you Google Habitat for Humanity Trinidad and Tobago, you will get us first. And I realized the other day that's even in the world because there's a Trinidad in Colorado in the US apparently, and we've been getting calls from Colorado wanting to volunteer with us here. But as I said, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and website.
Right.
You'll be contacting a group email, which includes me, Mrs. Messiah, and our digital marketing officer. And it's really easy. We send you all the information, and we're always glad to have people come in to help. So.
I just want to add to that, you know, with the disaster that we've been having around the world, they seem to be becoming fast and furious. We used to celebrate doing one house at a time. We're forced to change the conversations to doing many more. And so the need for volunteers, particularly with vehicles, because it's difficult for us to transport people. If they can get involved, then we would certainly love to have them on board.
Definitely.
And of course, we were supposed to have actually a media build yesterday, to which we'd invited everybody. So we had to push it back because we realized that you all were just swamped with budget today. So I am looking forward to seeing you again doing some serious work. You think he set himself up there, Lisa?
A little bit.
One of the best persons because you know in terms of DIY.
Yes.
Harry can build anything, right? I don't think you need a special skill to be able to be part of Habitat for
Not
Humanity.
at all, not at all.
And
But
you
we
can
do
be
need
any
skilled
age,
people to help
like
direct
Harry.
the rest. So I think he's a
Yes.
group leader here,
But
right?
I was going to say,
Wow.
Harry, we could at least jump on board with the $100 a year and
definitely.
join the organization.
And of course, I think even so, but the time is even more of an investment.
Yeah.
You know, and it definitely will help push the cause forward.
Definitely.
All right, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Jennifer Messiah, National Director, and Tracy Hutchinson Wallace, Corporate Communications Officer of Habitat for Humanity Trinidad and Tobago. It has been wonderful chatting with you. And we look forward to the projects coming up. And again, well, you've already given me the cap of team leader, so I can't take that cap
No,
off
you
now.
can't take it off. No, we've got video.
Proof, right? Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, Harry, I know that you have the hat of team leader, is it?
Right.
So you have to get your team together now.
Yes, definitely.
So we have a lot of guys and girls on this building who could probably be part of your team.
We can
And
also
then
have
set-
a media competition.
Ooh, sounds
There
like a
we go.
plan.
So one media house against another one.
To build a house.
Well, we know which one is going to,
to
win.
work on the same house.
To work on the same house.
yes.
Okay.
But different things.
And we know which one is what?
We know which team is going to win because we live local.
Hey, I like the sound of that. I like the
I'm
sound
not
of
gonna
that.
get involved.
All right, and Wallace for Wallace. Not telling any tales out of school there.